All right, y'all, welcome to the show. So, a lot of stuff today. In just a second, we're going to discuss how Elon Musk and Trump are officially destroying the Department of Education. They're starting with a 50% cut, but the education secretary came out and was like, yeah, they're trying to do 100. They're trying to get rid of the whole shit. So we'll dive into that. Then we'll get to Trump was basically instantly humiliated by Ukraine's Zelensky because Zelensky was proven undoubtedly correct. So we'll dive into that. We'll get to MAGA attempting to ban free school lunch for kids, which even for them seems like a new low. The United States has now been added to a human rights watch list over Trump's fascism. We have the psychotic Philippines president, Duterte, former president, I should say. He has been arrested for war crimes, for crimes against humanity. So, I don't know, a little bit of hope vis-a-vis Netanyahu and the psychos in Israel. We'll see. And then also Trump's EPA drops a Cancer Alley lawsuit. So yet again, that's now example number 3 of them siding with cancer. That's not hyperbole. Republicans are trying to ban vaccines in 7 states. And wait until I talk about this Texas bill. I had this in the show the other day, but we didn't have time to get to it. But today we're going to talk about it. There's a Texas bill that makes being transgender a felony. What happened, man? I was told from the right, bro, it's just about the kids, bro. We're just trying to protect the kids. We just want to make sure that when they're adults, they can make the decision if they want to be trans. You can't do it when you're young, et cetera, et cetera. It was never about that, bro. It was never about that. They were always just anti-trans, period. Full stop. All right, so we have all that and more. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you nothing. And remember, this is real independent media. I've never had a conversation with a company, an advertiser, a corporation, a billionaire, a government. You guys fund this show from the ground up, and we have the default ads on YouTube. So again, much love to all of you who make this show work by donating on Patreon $5 a month or whatever it is. You're the best. Could not do without you. Okay, here we go. The other day, we learned they are making their move on the Department of Education. Trump and Elon are making their move on the Department of Education. Here we go. U.S. Department of Education initiates reduction in force. As part of the Department of Education's final mission, the department today initiated a reduction in force impacting nearly 50% of the department's workforce. Impacted department staff will be placed on administrative leave beginning Friday, March 21st. Quote, today's reduction in force reflects the Department of Education's commitment to efficiency, accountability, and ensuring that resources are directed where they matter most. To students, parents, and teachers, said Secretary of Education Linda McMahon, I appreciate the work of the dedicated public servants and their contributions to the department. This is like insult to injury shit, right? We're just trying to make it more efficient. Thank you for your help, but fuck off. This is a significant step toward restoring, they say, the greatness of the United States education system. I was right. It actually is reducing it. The Department of Education will continue to deliver on all statutory programs that fall under the agency's purview, including formula funding, student loans, Pell Grants, funding for special needs students, and competitive grant making. All divisions within the department are impacted by the reduction, with some divisions requiring significant reorganization to better serve students, parents, educators, and taxpayers. So here we go. They say background. When President Trump was inaugurated, the department workforce stood at 4,133. After today's actions, the department's workforce will total roughly 2,183. Included in the reduction in force are nearly 600 employees who accepted voluntary resignation, opportunities, and retirement over the last 7 weeks. And they go on to give some more numbers there about that. So, yes, they are taking out the hatchet. They are swinging it at the Department of Education. And I want to reiterate this because this is super duper important. This is completely and utterly illegal. This is not allowed. This is not constitutional. The way the system works, as you all know, Congress has the power of the purse. They pass a bill that determines where the funding is going to go. The president carries that out. The funds are sent to the Department of Treasury. The Department of Treasury sends it out. That's how the spending works. It is statutorily the case that the Department of Education got the funding that it got the employees that it got, and that's it. For Trump or Elon to come in and be like, we're just going to fire 50% of you. All these workers 100% have a lawsuit here. And my guess is this will be like all the other court cases where whether it's a right-wing judge, a left-wing judge, or a centrist judge, they all say, yeah, you can't fire these people. If you wanted to get rid of the Department of Education, which is a horrible idea, by the way, but if you wanted to, you have to debate it in Congress and say, okay, we're not going to fund, we're done with it. We're not funding it this year. So effectively, there is no more Department of Education. That's how you do it legally. Now, again, it would still be a bad idea, but that's the process you would have to go through in order to make this be the case. And they don't care about the process. They don't care about the details. Elon is a fucking psychopath who's firing disabled veterans and air traffic controllers and, all sorts of people who should not be fired. They're cutting pediatric cancer research and NIH funding, and we don't even need to go. You guys know the drill. You know the deals. CFPB, the anti-scam police. This is what they're doing. And they're still fucking going. Now, by the way, you might be thinking, well, Jesus, do people even want this? Fucking of course not. I just saw the poll on it. You want to know what percentage of Americans agree with cutting the Department of Education? 34%. 34. I'll give them this. That's a lot higher than what the Republicans did the other week, which was an $880 billion cut to Medicaid that they passed through the House. That only had a 7% approval rating. This is high for them. 34%. Look, it's a crime that these people do these things illegally and unconstitutionally, and it wildly unpopular, and nobody fucking lays a glove on them, right? Nobody's saying what I'm saying. I guess maybe some of the Democrats are bringing it up and trying to hit him over it, but this is unconscionable, dog. If the Democrats did something that had a 34% approval rating, you would never hear the fucking end of it. Ever. Now they do it, and, by next week, nobody will even be talking about this anymore. So I want to make this more clear for you. As Bernie points out, the Department of Education provides resources to 26 million children living in high poverty school districts. So they're saying, fuck them kids. Pell Grants to over 7 million students and funding for millions of children with disabilities. Closing its doors would be a disaster for working class families. So, again, let's call it what it is. They're saying, fuck you to students with disabilities. They're saying, fuck you to 26 million kids living in high poverty school districts. They're saying, fuck you to Pell Grants, so student loan type stuff. And the other thing is, we talked about this before, but they are rolling back some of the student loan reductions. They're further privatizing it, and they're making people pay more. That's the difference right there, right? Biden, as flawed as he was trying to do student loan debt reduction, did it a number of different ways. Some of them stuck, some of them were struck down and called illegal, etc. But they were moving in the right direction, and there was no doubt about it, right? Here they're saying, we're gonna roll back the reductions that have been done. We're gonna privatize it and then make you pay more than you've ever had to pay. It is literally nothing but a giant middle finger to working class people in the entire country. The idea of all the problems that we have in this country, and the thing they're prioritizing is, bro, we gotta destroy the Department of Education. It just shows you that they don't give a fuck about you. It's not close. It's like they despise you. They despise you, man. All right, so let me give you some more. Here's Linda McMahon, of course, the wife of Vince McMahon, who there's a lot you could say about Vince McMahon, head of WWE, been in the news lately for all sorts of weird, perverted stuff. But anyway, here's Laura Ingraham talking to her, and listen to what she says.
Welcome to the show, because you haven't been in studio with me before. Now, is this the first step on the road to a total shutdown?
Yes, actually it is, because that was the president's mandate. This directive to me clearly is to shut down the Department of Education.
Again, I want to reiterate this. They know this is illegal. They know you're not allowed to do it. And they're just like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're just going to go ahead and shut it down, bro. That's what the stuff these guys get away with. Notice, all of the, sort of pipe dream policy goals of the right, like eliminating the Department of Education, somehow they find a way to fucking, yeah, no, we're actually doing it. Meanwhile, the pipe dream ideas of the left, which exist, by the way, in every other developed country, like universal health care, we've never been further from it, right? I think it's time to fight back. I think it's time to make our policies, the ones that are front and center and the ones that we're getting implemented come hell or high water. This is disgusting. By the way, the idea that like, and this is, they try to make this argument sometimes, like, oh, bro, there's not even going to be a difference, bro. Like, you're not even going to notice anything different, bro. I guarantee you, there are going to be horror stories about, being unable to get any funding to the kids with disabilities, which is just a tragedy. It's going to be a situation where the kids in the high poverty districts get screwed over, right? Like, this is just going to exacerbate the inequality that we have in this country, and we're going to further have a haves and have-nots type situation. And look, their end goal, we all know what their end goal is. They don't believe in public schools. They would love to get it to a point where we privatize the entire school system, and only if you come from a wealthy background can you go to school. Everybody else shut up and, go learn a trade or something and, be an apprentice somewhere. But, like, they don't believe in universal education. They don't believe in it.
We'll have to work with Congress, to get that accomplished. But what we did today was to...
That's amazing. She's like, we have to work with Congress. In other words, I know that what we're doing is completely and utterly illegal, but yeah, they want to make sure that we even the 50% reduction is illegal. She knows that. They know that. Like, God, the court system is so, like, overburdened right now, where every judge is like, can't do that, stop doing that, this is crazy, you're not allowed to do that, got to go through Congress, stop freezing those funds, unfreeze those funds. It's every day. And they got a new fucking crazy-ass idea, too, every day. And then you got to deal with that. And, of course, the problem is, you guys know this, litigation takes fucking forever, right? So we're going to get the answers that we know are the answers, like, a year from now or 2 years from now. But it's like, really? All the damage is being done in the fucking meantime. Like, all the damage is already happening. This is what he meant, make America great again. And by that, I mean, fuck the special needs kids. Fuck the kids in high poverty districts. Make America great again.
Take the first step of eliminating what I think is bureaucratic bloat. And that's not to say that a lot of the folks, it's a humanitarian thing too. A lot of the folks that are there, they're out of a job. But we wanted to make sure that we kept all of the right people and the good people to make sure that the outward-facing programs, the grants, the appropriations that come from Congress, all of that are being met. And none of that's going to fall through the cracks.
Nonsense. 100% nonsense. You can't do 50% reductions at already overburdened agencies and be like, bro, nothing's going to even change, bro. You fucking know that's not the case. You know that's not the case. By the way, we have to cut the funding for the Department of Education. Quick, send another $17 billion to Israel for them to bomb toddlers. Are you sick of this yet? Look, you need to understand the ideology that these people have. Their ideology is super serve the robber barons and the oligarchs and the billionaires. They are the only constituency that matters. The corporations, the oligarchs, the billionaires. That's why they'll all get to loot the treasury. More tax cuts, more subsidies, more corporate welfare, more deregulation so they don't have to abide by any rules and they can pollute and cut all sorts of corners. This is who this administration represents. It is George W. Bush. It is Dick Cheney on steroids. That's what it is. It's socialism for the rich and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, anarcho-capitalism for everybody else. Dog-eat-dog world out here, right? I'm telling you, man, they're overreaching so much, so quickly, that this is going to be, the real-world impacts are going to be devastating, right? And it's time everybody needs to wake up and understand what the stakes are and understand who these people exist to serve. By the way, Trump, in his first term, had more billionaires and Wall Street executives in his administration than anybody else in history. You ready for this? His second term now eclipsed the number in his first term. That's why, when he was being sworn in, who was he surrounded by? The robber barons had better seats than his own cabinet members. He's letting the world's richest man hack around in our government agencies and delete the Department of Education. It is a war. Guys, this is class war. You are witnessing class war. And it's way easier to dismantle a government agency than it is to build a government agency, right? This has long-term consequences. Study came out the other day. The top 1% has effectively stolen $80 trillion from the bottom 90% since 1975. That's because of all the legalized corruption and bribery and rigging the system in their favor and giving them subsidies and destroying unions. And now they're coming to cut the social safety net and the little bit of help that people get in this country. We already have a weak social safety net. They want to eliminate that social safety net. And this is what you're witnessing. Democrats, I need you to wake up, and I need you to go on the offense. You should all be saying the shit that I'm saying right now, right? There are so many things. We have tens of millions of working poor people in this country, and instead of addressing that problem, you're like, how about we destroy the Department of Education, right? What was it, $74 billion or $78 billion needed to be borrowed by Americans just last year in order to pay medical bills, and this is the shit that you're doing? Because they don't care about you. Your concerns are not on the menu. It's all about super serve the robber barons, super serve the multinational corporations, let them get away with everything, highway robbery. And what is Trump trying to do? He told you. He said 1890s were the best time in American history, the best time. We were so rich we didn't even know what to do with all the money. What he's not telling you is that was literally the Gilded Age. That was the age of the robber barons. There were like 7 people that had everything, and everybody else was living in fucking tenement homes, and their children were working hard labor and losing their hands to factory machinery. And it was extreme poverty and massive income and wealth inequality. We're already on the brink with that shit, and they're making it worse. And they have the nerve to show their fucking faces in public at the same time. Hey, you wonder why, Elon was out there fucking nearly crying because his business empire was collapsing. Oh, people are coming after Tesla and we're losing sales and fucking cars are being vandalized. It's like, what did you expect to happen? When you're the world's richest man, you're illegally cutting government funding, you're screwing people over left and right, now you're targeting Social Security next, right? The few government programs that are so popular in this country, you're destroying it and you're like, wow, I thought everybody would throw a fucking parade for me. Why would they do that? You're firing disabled veterans. You're firing air traffic controllers. You cut pediatric cancer research as you gave yourself $8 million a day in government subsidies. This is class war. It's time to wake up. Ain't no turning the other cheek anymore, bro. They are waging class war on you. Wake up, fight back. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.